It was a calm Wednesday evening, the kind where even the ticking of the clock feels like the loudest sound in the house. My husband, Eric, had flown to Dallas earlier that morning for a tech summit. We'd shared a sleepy hug in the driveway just after sunrise. His carry-on bag slung over one shoulder, a protein bar in hand. He kissed my forehead, promised to message me before bed, and drove off. I watched the car disappear down the street, then stepped back into the stillness of our home, letting out a sigh that even surprised me. I love Eric, no doubt about that. But after nearly 17 years of shared routines, dinner talks filled with bills and schedules, I secretly savored a couple of evenings to myself. I curled up on the couch beneath a soft knit throw, sipping lavender tea, and finally cracked open a book I'd been meaning to read for weeks. The living room was spotless, the lamps glowing gently, and the only sound was the low hum of the fridge. Our son, Ryan, was upstairs, most likely glued to his monitor, headset on, shouting strategies to his friends in some online battle. He'd been changing lately. Acha Deo, he had that quiet intensity of someone caught between being yesterday's child and tomorrow's man. Tall, lean, brown hair falling into his eyes, and a thoughtful focus that made him seem older than his age. The days when he'd follow me around the house, asking endless questions about clouds or dinosaurs were long gone. Now, I was lucky to get a full sentence from him at dinner. Still, I watched him from afar, hoping that small pieces of the boy I once knew would shine through now and then. Around 9:30 p.m., I heard the stairs creak. I looked up from my book and saw Ryan standing in the doorway, looking a bit uncertain. "Hey, Mom," he said softly. "Hey, sweetheart. Everything okay?" He nodded, paused. "I was thinking maybe we could hang out, play a game or something. Like when I was little." My heart did a flip. "Of course. Cards." He gave a small shrug. "Yeah, if you want." I set the book aside, pulled the deck from the drawer under the coffee table, and motioned for him to join me. We started with a few clumsy rounds of gin rummy, half-forgotten rules, laughing at how we used to cheat, playful teasing over who had the better poker face. Slowly, we found our rhythm again. The silence between us began to feel natural, comforting. After an hour, I brought out some snacks, pretzels, apple slices, and soda. We sank deeper into the couch, relaxed and close. That's when Ryan asked, "Do you ever wonder if you're living someone else's life?" I blinked. "That's a big question." He stared up at the ceiling. "Sometimes it feels like we're just playing roles. Like you and Dad, do you ever feel like you're just going through the motions?" I hesitated. I loved Eric, and our life was solid. But even the strongest walls can show cracks. "I think sometimes comfort can look a lot like routine," I said eventually. Ryan nodded slowly, then turned to me. "I've been feeling that way too, like I'm heading down a path that's not really mine." Before I could respond, the lights flickered, then went out. The room plunged into darkness. I let out a breathy laugh. Perfect timing. Ryan stood. "Probably a fuse. I'll check." "I'm coming with you," I said, grabbing my phone to light the way. The basement was cool and quiet. Each step down made the wooden stairs groan. The air carried the earthy scent of wood and thyme. Ryan knelt at the fuse box. "Nothing tripped," he said. "Might be the whole street." I turned to head back up, but something made me pause. The small window at the far wall, it was open. Not wide, but enough. "Ryan," I said cautiously, "did you open that window?" He turned to look. "No. Why?" We walked over together. The latch was bent. "That's not right," I murmured. He straightened up, suddenly more alert. "Stay here. I'll check outside." "No," I said firmly, grabbing his sleeve. "We should call someone." But he shook his head and stepped upstairs, cautiously peeking into the backyard. I followed, my phone's flashlight casting long shadows across the floor. Outside, everything was still. No wind, no movement, just silence. But in that hush, something shifted between us. Ryan glanced at me. "This is going to sound weird, but I'm kind of glad this happened. I mean, we're talking, like really talking. It's been a while." Tears welled in my eyes. "I've missed you." We secured the window, locked the doors, and lit a few candles. Back in the living room, Ryan hesitated, then said, "There's something I've been hiding." I didn't want to bring it up when Dad was around. I braced myself. "Okay. What is it?" "I don't want to major in economics. I know it's what you and Dad hoped for, but I want to write. Stories, scripts, anything." I applied to some writing programs secretly, and I got in. He handed me his phone. The screen showed an email from a well-known arts college in California. My breath caught. "Ryan, this is amazing." He searched my face. "You're not disappointed?" "No," I said, voice cracking. "I'm proud. So proud. I just wish you'd told us sooner." A smile broke across his face, one I hadn't seen in years. "Thanks, Mom. That means a lot." Just then, the lights came back on. We both laughed. The room glowed again in warm yellow light. As I leaned over to blow out the candles, he reached for my hand. "Thanks for always being on my side, even when I didn't show I needed it." I squeezed his hand. "Always, Ryan." That night, we talked past midnight, about dreams, college, fears, and everything in between. At some point, we put on a movie neither of us really watched. It didn't matter. We were just happy to be in the same space, finally in sync. Later, as I walked through the house turning off lights, I paused at the hallway where his baby photos still hung. Chubby cheeks, gap-toothed grins, hands covered in finger paint. And now here he was, a young man with dreams of his own. When I finally went to bed, I didn't feel worry or anxiety. I felt peace. Eric returned 2 days later. I told him everything. It took time, but he understood. It wasn't the future we'd imagined for Ryan, but it was his future. And that made all the difference. Sometimes, the moments that change your life don't come with fireworks. Sometimes, they arrive in flickering candlelight, or the shuffle of cards, or in the soft, tentative voice of your child asking, "Do you want to hang out for a while?"